Imagine standing in a crowd where thousands of people have gathered. Children sit on their parents' shoulders so they can see. Vendors weave between bodies with baskets of bread and watered wine. Somewhere behind you, two men argue about politics. Somewhere ahead, a woman covers her son's eyes, though she already knows he will peek through her fingers. It feels like a festival. Except in the center of the square, surrounded by guards, something terrible is waiting. Not chaos, not revenge, law, official, approved, expected. Across history, civilizations turned punishment into ceremony. They believed fear could be engineered, displayed, repeated until it carved obedience directly into memory. Pain was not only an ending, it was communication. If journeys into the uncomfortable corners of the past are something you want more of, subscribe and stay with us, because what you're about to witness only grows darker from here. These events were announced in advance. People travelled miles to attend. Families came together. Afterwards, they returned home, shared meals, slept beside loved ones, and the next morning, they remembered. As we move through this history, hold on to one thought. Each step forward will feel like the limit of human cruelty, and then history will quietly step past it. The first method was known as the Brazen Bull, 6th century BCE Sicily. A ruler named Phalaris receives an inventor who promises something extraordinary. Servants roll forward a massive shape hidden beneath cloth. When the covering falls, bronze erupts into light. A bull, perfectly formed, muscles alive in metal, horns curved like crescents, the mouth slightly open as though breathing. It is magnificent, until the inventor gestures toward a seam, a door. Inside the statue is hollow. Here is the proposal. Place a person within. Seal the opening. Build a fire underneath. The bronze will conduct heat inward, slowly, patiently, until escape becomes impossible. Not instantly, slowly. There will be time to understand, but the inventor is not finished. Inside the head he has built pipes, chambers, an acoustic maze. When the victim screams, the sound will travel, bend, emerge transformed into the roar of a furious animal. Human panic becomes theatre. Smoke rises, sweetened with incense. Spectators hear not pleas for mercy, but the voice of a beast conquered by authority. Phalaris listens carefully. He admires the craftsmanship. He asks practical questions. Then he makes a request. Show me how a man fits inside. The inventor laughs nervously, eager to please, certain this is demonstration, not destiny. He climbs in. The door slams shut. Torches lower. At first the sounds are unmistakably human, desperate, bargaining, terrified. Then the mechanism reshapes them. Witnesses say Phalaris smiled when the transformation came. The machine worked. Years later, rebellion swept the city. Phalaris was dragged from power, carried back to the same square, pushed toward the same door. History, it seems, remembers. If turning agony into spectacle feels unimaginable, stay with me, because others discovered you could do something even more devastating. You could remove hope. The second punishment was called scaphism. Its genius lay in stillness, a shoreline under punishing sun, water thick, unmoving, reflecting light like glass. Soldiers bring 2 boats together and lay the condemned between them. The upper shell presses down, trapping the body so that only the head, hands and feet remain exposed. Then comes sweetness. Milk and honey forced down the throat, smeared across skin, into hair, behind ears, between fingers. At first it feels almost absurd. Then nature begins to answer. Flies arrive, they settle, they feed, more follow. The condemned cannot brush them away, cannot turn, cannot defend even the smallest territory of their own body. Hours pass. The sun burns hotter, illness begins, waste accumulates, the scent deepens, drawing life that thrives on decay. Sleep becomes impossible, consciousness flickers, the world reduces itself to crawling sensation and thirst. Ancient accounts tell of a man surviving for more than 2 weeks. Maybe exaggeration, maybe not. But people believed it. They believed a human being could be unmade slowly, publicly, deliberately, until death felt almost merciful. And belief shapes behaviour. If you think you understand how far a society might go to maintain order, don't look away now. What medieval Europe built next turned suffering into architecture. They called it the breaking wheel. By dawn, the town square is already packed. People secure vantage points as though waiting for a parade. A heavy wooden wheel lies at the centre, solid, dependable, patient. The condemned is brought forward and bound across it, arms and legs stretched until the body becomes part of the design. The executioner approaches with iron. The first strike lands. A sound cracks outward. Some recoil, others lean closer, compelled by something they cannot name. The blow is not fatal, it is not supposed to be. Another strike, another fracture. There is rhythm to it, technique, a careful negotiation between destruction and survival. Too much force ends the lesson early. Too little risks sympathy. Experienced executioners knew exactly where to hit. They knew how to keep breath moving through lungs, even as the structure that supported it collapsed. When the breaking was complete, the wheel was raised upright and fixed atop a pole. From the road, travellers would see it before they saw the city walls. From windows, children would stare at the outline against the sky. Wind moved through ruined limbs. Birds landed without hesitation, and life below resumed. Markets reopened, conversations returned, the extraordinary folded back into the ordinary. But some punishments sought a quieter dominance. They relied not on the roar of the crowd, but on the whisper of inevitability. This device was known as the Judas cradle, a chamber. Damp stone, torchlight trembling against walls. In the centre stands a wooden pyramid. No decoration, no grandeur, just a point. The prisoner understands immediately. Ropes are secured, pulleys turn. The body lowers until gravity becomes the executioner's partner. There is no balance that brings relief. Every muscle strains, every second magnified. Questions are asked gently. Names, alliances, secrets. Sometimes the victim is lifted slightly, a rush of hope exploding through exhausted nerves, only to be lowered again when answers fail to satisfy. The wood remembers those who came before. It is rarely cleaned. Survival offers no guarantee of safety. Here, death is optional. Compliance is mandatory. If Europe mastered the art of stretching a moment into eternity, another civilization shaped punishment into something ritual, something that pursued the condemned beyond the limits of breath itself. If you've made it this far and want to keep exploring histories that challenge what we think humanity is capable of, subscribe, because the final chapter stayed alive for nearly 1,000 years. It was called Lingqi. Again, a public square. Officials stand with composed expressions. Families gather, some reluctantly, some because absence might be suspicious. The condemned is secured upright. The executioner begins. One cut, then another. The rhythm is deliberate, almost careful. This is not frenzy. It is administration. Each movement reinforces hierarchy. Each pause gives the crowd time to understand the cost of disobedience. In a culture shaped by filial duty, the body is sacred because it is inherited. To divide it is to dishonor lineage, to enter the afterlife incomplete. Punishment does not end when the heart stops. It continues. This method survived empires and reforms because it satisfied a demand as old as civilization itself. Make justice visible. Make it unforgettable. Photographs from its final years show spectators with ordinary faces, standing calmly, hats in hand. They do not look monstrous, they look like us. Executioners returned home after their work. They spoke of routine things, weather, crops, family. Crowds dispersed, absorbing the spectacle into memory, another reference point for what authority required. These punishments endured not because humans lacked empathy, but because empathy can be negotiated. Because repeated exposure teaches people what to accept. We prefer to believe we are different now, more enlightened, more humane. History rarely offers comfort, it offers patterns. The bronze cooled, the boats decayed, the wheels splintered, the pyramids gathered dust. But the reasoning that built them did not vanish. It waits beneath the surface of every society, patient, listening for the moment when fear becomes strong enough and power becomes confident enough to declare suffering necessary again. And when that moment arrives, crowds will gather. They always